I sit rigid in my chair at Marino's, the downtown restaurant that costs more than my weekly grocery budget. Crystal glasses catch the light from chandeliers overhead, creating tiny prisms across the white tablecloth. The wine menu stands propped between salt and pepper shakers, $28 for the cheapest glass. My father's 60th birthday celebration swirls around me while I maintain a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. Another round? The server hovers at Dad's right shoulder, pen poised. Absolutely. Dad claps his hands together, his cheeks already flushed from the first two glasses. My fingers tighten around my water glass. I've barely touched the wine I ordered 30 minutes ago, calculating its cost with each small sip. Jade tosses her hair over one shoulder, scanning the menu with practiced nonchalance. I'm thinking the Maine black lobster. They fly it in fresh this time of year. I glance at the price, $65, and feel my stomach clench. Excellent choice. Our server nods, then turns to me. And for you, ma'am? Just the cedar plank salmon, please. It's the least expensive entree at $32. Jade catches my eye as the server moves to Logan. With deliberate slowness, she points to the reserve wine list. I'll have the Chateau Margaux, the 2015. I know that wine. $45 a glass. Logan leans forward. And I'd like the deluxe sushi platter. A dish designed for 2 people. $78. My chest tightens. Maybe we go easy on the menu tonight? The words slip out before I can stop them, soft enough that only our table can hear. Mom and Dad exchange glances. Logan studies his napkin. Jade's lips curve upward. Relax, Ellis, she says, voice carrying just enough to make the tables nearby turn slightly. You've got it. You're basically our corporate sponsor. Everyone laughs. Everyone except me. I feel something harden inside my chest, like concrete setting. 3 years. 3 years of holidays, birthdays, and just because celebrations were my card somehow always ended up with the bill. It began with my promotion to financial manager. Suddenly, my family wanted to celebrate everything, and I was happy to treat occasionally. But occasional became expected, and expected became demanded. I look around the table at my laughing family. Dad's gold watch glints in the dim light, a gift to himself last Christmas. Mom's designer purse hangs off her chair, something she just had to have from the Nordstrom anniversary sale. Jade's 3rd new phone this year sits beside her plate. Meanwhile, my apartment still has the secondhand furniture I bought 5 years ago. My car is paid off, but showing its age. I'm saving for retirement while they're spending like there's no tomorrow. Under the table, I pull out my phone and text Tyler. They're doing it again. His response comes quickly. Walk away. Jim's the manager tonight. I already talked to him. Tyler, the one person who sees me clearly. I do the math in my head as I watch Mom order another bottle for the table. $890 and climbing. The weight of it settles on my shoulders, not just the money, but the responsibility they've placed there without asking, without thanks. Mom lifts her glass. To family, she says, meeting everyone's eyes but mine. That's when I know. 3 years of this is enough. I stand up, holding my phone as if it's just vibrated. I'm gonna step outside and take this call real quick. No one really looks at me. Dad nods absently, already launching into a story about his golf game. Mom adjusts her necklace. Logan and Jade are arguing about some reality television show. I walk toward the door, each step feeling strangely momentous. At the threshold, I pause and look back. My family continues eating, drinking, la finga tableau of pleasure at someone else's expense. For one heartbeat, doubt flutters in my chest. Then I remember Jade's smirk, the casual way they order whatever they want without a single thank you. I push through the door and step into the cool night air. I don't look back. The hostess smiles as I pass. Leaving already? Yes, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. I'm finished. And I am. Finally, completely finished. What would you do if your family treated you like nothing more than a walking wallet? Would you keep paying silently? Or would you finally stand up for yourself? I chose self-respect, but the price was higher than any dinner bill. Stay with me to see what happened when the check finally arrived at the table. I sit in my car, engine off, listening to rain patter against the windshield. The parking lot of Marino's glows orange under sodium lights, each raindrop catching light like tiny falling stars. My phone lights up again the seventh time in 12 minutes. The screen displays our family group chat. 3 dots appear, disappear, then reappear as someone types, deletes, reconsiders. I don't need to read the messages to know what's happening inside. The thought of Jim approaching their table sends a chill down my spine that has nothing to do with the car's cooling interior. My phone buzzes again. This time, I look. Jade, where are you? The manager said the bill hasn't been paid. Logan, this is not funny. We're sitting here humiliated. Mom, Ellis, is something wrong? Dad, answer your phone right now. I see Jim in my mind's eye, tall, thin, perpetually concerned, approaching their table with practiced professionalism. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it seems Miss Morrison's card has been removed from our payment system. Jade's face would shift, first disbelief breaking through her perfect composure. Those carefully shaped eyebrows shooting upward as her champagne glass hovers halfway to her lips. Mom would fumble in her designer, purse the $1,200 Prada she absolutely needed last month. Her fingers, adorned with the anniversary diamonds Dad gave her, that I helped him choose, would tremble slightly as she searches for a rarely used credit card. Dad's face would redden beneath his tan, that particular shade of crimson that appears when his dominance is challenged. The same color he turned when his golf buddy outbid him at the charity auction last summer. My phone buzzes with Tyler's message. They figure it out yet? I type back, in process, not going back. Another memory surfaces: Christmas dinner at the Capitol Grill. The bill, $650. I remember the weight of the leather folder in my hand, the quick mental calculation as I slid my card inside. The conversation never paused as plates were cleared. Not a single thank you, not even a glance. Then Logan's graduation celebration at Coastline. $1,200 for 8 people. This is my sister, Logan had said to his girlfriend's parents. She works in finance, not Ellis, who helped him study for entrance exams. Not Ellis, who proofread his essays. Just Ellis, who works in finance, Ellis the walking wallet. I gripped the steering wheel, remembering Jade's voice floating from the kitchen during Thanksgiving. Why save when Ellis has us covered? She'd laughed, unaware I stood just around the corner, pumpkin pie in hand. The heat of humiliation rising in my cheeks matched only by the spreading coldness in my chest. Somewhere along the way, my financial success became my family identity. The realization sits heavy in my stomach, solid as a stone. My phone lights up again. Tyler, you finally did it. I'm proud of you. Marie from work had warned me months ago. We were reviewing quarterly projections when she noticed me calculating my portion of Dad's upcoming birthday. They're using you, she'd said bluntly. You know that, right? I defended them then. That's what family does. We take care of each other. When was the last time they took care of you? Marie had asked. I had no answer. My apartment, small but carefully furnished, was another quiet rebellion. Dad had pushed me toward luxury high-rises when I got promoted. You've made it, he'd insisted. Show it. But I chose this modest place instead, with its morning light and reading nook. My private sanctuary that no family member had visited in over a year. Messages continue flooding my phone as I start the engine. I imagine them inside scrambling to cover a bill approaching $1,000. Mom's credit card might be declined. She rarely uses it. Dad would be forced to pull out his emergency card, the one he keeps for real situations. Logan might need to call his girlfriend for help. I drive away from Marino's, streetlights blurring slightly as I blink rapidly. Jade, I can't believe you would embarrass us like this. Logan, the manager is standing here waiting. Mom, Ellis, please call us back immediately. Dad, this behavior is unacceptable. The words blurred together, accusation after accusation. No one asks if I'm okay. No one wonders why I left. The messages focus only on their embarrassment, their inconvenience. I pull into my apartment complex, park in my usual spot. The familiar surroundings settle me. This is my space, my life, my choices. With steady fingers, I type my response. Nothing's wrong. I just thought it was time for everyone to handle their own part for once. The group chat falls silent. I imagine them staring at their phones, shock rippling across the table like a stone dropped in still water. I turn off notifications with a deliberate tap. The sudden silence feels like opening windows after a storm, fresh air rushing in, clearing stagnation. Inside my apartment, I kick off my shoes and curl into my reading chair, tucking my legs beneath me. The small table lamp casts a warm circle of light that doesn't quite reach the corners of the room. For the first time in years, the quiet doesn't feel lonely. It feels like freedom. This modest space, once a compromise between what I could afford and what would placate my family's expectation, suddenly feels different. The secondhand bookshelf, the throw blanket from a street fair, the watercolor I painted in college, all mine. Chosen by me, for me. Not a prison of financial obligation. A sanctuary of self-respect. Have you ever been taken advantage of by the very people who should support you most? When is enough finally enough? Tell me in the comments if you've had to draw a hard line with family, and what happened afterward. Ellis's family isn't done with her yet, not by a long shot. The doorbell pierces the quiet of my Sunday morning like an alarm. Not a gentle chime, but an insistent buzz-hold buzz that makes my coffee slosh over the rim of my mug. When it doesn't stop after 30 seconds, I set down my half-read financial journal and pad across the hardwood floor in my fuzzy socks. Through the peephole's distorted fisheye, I see them all, 4 of them, crowded in the narrow hallway outside my apartment. Dad's jaw works back and forth, a sure sign he's grinding his teeth. Mom dabs at her eyes with a handkerchief, the embroidered one Grandma left her. Logan shifts his weight from foot to foot, hands shoved deep in his pockets. And Jade, front and center, jabs her manicured finger toward my doorbell again. My hand hovers over the deadbolt. I could pretend I'm not home. I could turn up the morning news and drown them out until they leave. But they just come back. This confrontation was always coming. I unlock the door and pull it open. Finally, Jade huffs, brushing past me without waiting for an invitation. The others follow in her wake, Mom with a wounded glance, Dad with a curt nod, Logan with an awkward half-smile that dies before it fully forms. They position themselves around my modest living room like they're staging an intervention. Dad immediately begins pacing the perimeter, running his finger along my IKEA bookshelf, as if checking for dust. Mom sinks into my reading chair, handkerchief pressed to her nose, her designer purse, the one I remember her needing last season, tucked beside her. Jade plants herself directly in front of my television, arms crossed over her chest, while Logan hovers uncertainly near the exit, as if preserving the option to flee. I remain standing, hands clasped in front of me. The contrast must be stark, their agitation against my stillness. Last night, I prepared for this moment, rehearsing responses in my bathroom mirror until they felt natural in my mouth. What were you thinking, embarrassing us like that? Dad launches in, his voice tight with controlled anger. His pacing increases. 3 steps right. Pivot. 3 steps left. The manager had to come over. People were looking. We've always been there for you, Ellis. Always. Mom's voice warbles with emotion, but her eyes remain dry behind the handkerchief. I notice she's wearing her pearl earrings, the ones she mentioned buying herself with birthday money from Ellis. One dinner, Jade throws her hands up dramatically. You threw a tantrum over one dinner? Do you know how ridiculous that makes you look? I sit quietly in the center of their storm, letting them exhaust their prepared speeches. Logan contributes nothing, studying the carpet pattern as if it contains secret messages. What do you have to say for yourself? Dad demands when their initial volley meets only silence. I've rehearsed this moment, but now that it's here, my heart hammers against my ribs. Still, I stand, straightening my spine one vertebra at a time. I've paid for almost every gathering in the past 3 years. I say, my voice steadier than I feel. No one ever asked if it was okay, just became expected. I'm not a wallet. I'm a person. The silence that follows has physical weight. Mom's handkerchief freezes mid-dab. Dad stops pacing so abruptly he rocks on his heels. Even Jade's perpetual eye roll pauses halfway through its revolution. I walk to my desk and retrieve a folder I prepared weeks ago, the one I never thought I'd have the courage to share. Inside is a spreadsheet, because of course there is. I've tracked every celebration since my promotion, every credit card statement, every casual, "Oh, Ellis will get it." I place it on the coffee table and open it so they can all see. Mother's Day brunch, $342. Logan's job interview celebration, $538. Dad's retirement party, $1,890. I flip through the meticulously organized receipts. Jade's breakup dinner, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mom's birthday, the just because dinners. The final page shows a highlighted total, $17,280. This isn't about generosity. I continue into their stunned silence. It's about respect. I would have happily treated occasionally if anyone had ever acknowledged it. But it became an expectation, not a gift. Jade recovers first, her face flushing crimson. You embarrassed the entire family over one dinner? That's messed up. She stalks toward me, finger pointed. You make more than the rest of us combined. What else are you spending it on? Your exciting life of financial journals and sensible shoes? This wasn't just one dinner, I reply, holding my ground. This was the final straw after years of silence. After all we've sacrificed for you. Mom's tears now fall freely, her voice rising to that familiar pitch that used to send me scrambling to make amends. All the opportunities we gave you, the support through college. Something inside me shifts. Name one sacrifice you've made for me in the last 5 years. The question lands like a stone in still water. The ripples of silence spread outward as they search for an answer. Any answer. We're family, Dad finally says, as if that explains everything. Yes, I nod. And family should respect each other. Jade snatches her purse from the couch. You'll regret this, she hisses, moving toward the door. Don't think you're better than us. I'm not better, I say quietly. I'm just done being taken advantage of. They exit one by one, a reverse procession. Logan with a backward glance, I can't quite interpret. Mom with a fresh wave of tears. Jade with a dramatic door swing that would be comical in another context. Dad is last. His hand on the doorknob, he turns to deliver his parting shot. Your mother raised you better than this. The words are meant to cut, to reopen that lifetime wound of wanting to be good enough. But something has hardened in me, a protective shell around my newly discovered self-respect. She raised me to respect myself too, I say as the door closes. Alone in my apartment, I release a breath I've been holding for 3 years. The silence feels different, now not lonely, but peaceful. For the first time in a long time, I haven't paid for my family's approval. And that feels worth every penny I didn't spend. When you finally stand your ground, those who benefited from your silence often become your loudest critics. Has someone ever made you feel guilty for setting healthy boundaries? Share your experience below. In Stay With Me, Alice's story is about to take an unexpected turn that might change how you see family obligations forever. The familiar hum of fluorescent lights bathes my office in a clinical glow as I review the Henderson portfolio. Numbers align in perfect columns on my monitor, reliable, predictable, unlike family. My silenced phone buzzes again in my desk drawer the 5th time in 30 minutes. I don't need to look to know who it is. The small wooden drawer vibrates against my knee, but I keep my eyes fixed on the screen, feeling strangely liberated by this small act of rebellion. Ellis? Marie pokes her head in, her brows lifting when she sees me. You seem different today. Good different or concerning different, I ask, saving the report. She leans against the door frame. Focused, like you've shed something heavy. I feel the corners of my mouth lift into a genuine smile. I have. We're heading to Mancini's for lunch, she says. Join us? The old Ellis would have calculated the cost, worried about appearing stingy, picked up the check to ensure everyone still liked her. Instead, I shake my head. Not today. I'm taking care of myself today. Marie's nod carries no judgment, only respect. She disappears down the hallway, leaving me to the blessed quiet of my own company. My drawer buzzes again. With a sigh, I slide it open and glance at the screen. 7 missed calls from Mom. 3 texts from Logan. 1 email from Dad. 4 Instagram notifications from Jade. Mom's voicemail plays in my ear, her voice wavering between anger and pleading. Ellis, honey, we've always been there for you. Always. This silent treatment isn't like you. We're worried. I delete it and move to the next. Your father is beside himself. Is this how you repay everything we've done for you over one dinner? And the next. I raised you better than this, Ellis Catherine Morrison. By the 6th message, tears have crept into her voice. Please, sweetheart, just call us. We're family. Family sticks together. Dad's email is shorter, more direct. Your behavior was unacceptable and embarrassed this entire family. We expect an apology and a conversation about family responsibilities. Soon. Logan's texts attempt an awkward middle ground. Hey sis, everyone's pretty heated on. Maybe we could grab coffee? Just us. I get why you're upset, but family's family, you know. But it's Jade's Instagram that truly twists the knife. A filtered throwback photo of our family at Thanksgiving 3 years ago, standing slightly apart, everyone smiling. The caption reads, "Missing simpler times when some people valued family over money. Heartbroken. Family first." 27 likes. 3 sympathetic comments about selfish siblings. Something hardens in my chest, not like concrete this time, but like steel being tempered. With deliberate movements, I open my messaging app and Emily group chat. My fingers hover over the keyboard. I type, delete, and type again. If I'm only valued when I'm paying, then I'm no longer part of this conversation. Don't contact me unless it's with respect. I press send before I can second guess myself, then block the chat. That evening, I stand before the photo wall in my living room. Crystal frames hold snapshots of a family that exists only in these frozen moments, Dad teaching me to ride a bike, Mom braiding my hair, Logan and me building sandcastles, Jade and I in matching dresses at Easter. One by one, I take them down, considering each before making my decision. Some return to the wall. Others go into a box I slide under my bed. Not discarded, just distanced. Tyler arrives with takeout as I hang the last frame. "How are you holding up?" he asks, setting containers on my small dining table. "Better than expected." I sink onto my couch, suddenly exhausted. "But I think I need to be clear about boundaries with you too." His eyes widen slightly, but he sits across from me, listening intently as I explain my need for financial independence, my fear of being valued only for what I provide, my determination to build relationships based on mutual respect. I don't want to be anyone's ATM again. I finish, throat tight. Tyler takes my hand, his palm warm against mine. "I hear you, and I'm with you." 3 days later, an email from the firm's managing director lands in my inbox. I've been promoted to senior financial manager effective immediately. The office erupts in genuine congratulations. Marie organizes an impromptu celebration in the break room with supermarket cupcakes and paper cups of sparkling cider. No one expects me to pay for anything. No one wants anything except to share in my success. My mentor Diane insists on taking me to dinner that weekend. When the check arrives, she smoothly hands over her card. "My treat," she says firmly when I reach for my purse. "You've earned this." I struggle with the unfamiliar feeling of accepting generosity without strings attached. "Thank you," I manage. The following Tuesday, Mom appears in the lobby of my office building. Her face is carefully made up, but her eyes are rimmed in red. I guide her to the courtyard cafe, its public setting ensuring our conversation will remain civil. "We miss you," she says immediately, clutching her purse like a shield. "Family sticks together, Ellis, always." I stir my coffee slowly. "I love you, Mom." Her shoulders relax slightly. But love without respect isn't love at all. Her eyes fill with tears, but I don't reach to wipe them away. Some lessons need to be felt to be learned. I arrive 20 minutes early at Barney's Diner, the kind of place where the vinyl booths have small tiers repaired with duct tape, and the coffee comes in thick white mugs that have seen thousands of refills. Not a crystal glass or a sommelier in sight. Perfect. My hands remain steady as I slide into the corner booth that gives me a clear view of both the entrance and the emergency exit. Old habits from my childhood always have an escape route. I position myself on the bench facing the door and arrange the laminated menu in front of me like a shield. The waitress, a woman with silver-streaked hair piled into a practical bun, approaches with a coffee pot. "Just you today, hon." "4 more coming," I say, checking my watch. "But I'll take that coffee while I wait." I wrap my hands around the mug, drawing warmth into my fingers while mentally rehearsing the words I'd practiced for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of ignored calls and deleted voicemails. 3 weeks of finding my voice. The bell above the door jingles, and they enter like a funeral procession, Dad first, shoulders squared in his tailored blazer. Then Mom, with her nervous smile, followed by Logan, who scans the room like he's checking for witnesses. And finally Jade, sunglasses perched on her head despite the overcast day. They spot me immediately. There's a moment of collective hesitation before they approach. as if crossing the worn linoleum requires special courage. Ellis. Dad slides into the booth opposite me, the others arranging themselves around him. No hugs, no kisses on cheeks. The temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. I don't smile. I don't frown. I simply nod and take another sip of coffee. Dad clears his throat, straightening his silverware with precise movements. I think it's time we put this foolishness behind us, don't you? The words land like a slap. Foolishness. 3 years of financial exploitation reduced to childish behavior. Mom reaches across the table, her manicured fingers stopping just short of touching mine. We're family, Ellis. Families stay together no matter what. Logan shifts beside her, eyes fixed on a ketchup stain near his elbow. It's been weird without you, he mumbles, the closest thing to sincerity I've heard yet. Then Jade leans forward, her voice dropping into the honeyed tone she uses for job interviews and first dates. I know I can be thoughtless sometimes. We all get caught up in our own lives, and maybe we didn't realize how you felt. But that's no reason to throw away years of family connection. The subtle blame wrapped in velvet words, how you felt, not what we did. Throw away, like I'm the destroyer, rather than the one who finally stopped accepting destruction. I let the silence stretch until they've all run out of prepared speeches. The waitress approaches, but I give a small shake of my head, and she retreats. I need to know, I say finally, my voice quiet but clear, if you understand why I walked away. The question hangs in the air between us. Mom blinks rapidly. Logan studies his hands. Jade's smile hardens at the edges. Dad waves dismissively, his gold watch catching the fluorescent light. You felt underappreciated. We get it. Can we move on now? Felt underappreciated, not were underappreciated. The distinction speaks volumes. I place my hands flat on the table, fingers splayed against the cool laminate. The gesture anchors me as I lean slightly forward. That's not enough, I say evenly. I need actual change, not just temporary awareness. From my purse, I withdraw a folded sheet of paper that I've revised a dozen times, making sure every word reflects exactly what I need. I slide it across the table toward the center. They stare at it as if I've offered them a live grenade. What's this? Mom asks, though she makes no move to pick it up. My terms for reconciliation. Dad snatches the paper, unfolding it with sharp movements. His eyes scan the contents, his complexion darkening with each line. Mom reads over his shoulder, her lips parting slightly. Logan cranes his neck to see, while Jade simply waits, arms crossed. Separate checks at all future gatherings? Dad sputters. Acknowledgement of past financial imbalance? A moratorium on comments about your spending habits? He slaps the paper down. These are ridiculous demands. I stand slowly, gathering my purse. The calmness in my movements surprises even me. They're not demands. They're boundaries. There's a difference. Dad's face flushes deeper. Mom's eyes fill with tears. Logan looks torn between embarrassment and admiration. But it's Jade who surprises me. Wait, she says, one hand raised. The usual smirk is gone, replaced by something I haven't seen on her face in years' uncertainty. I think she's right. Logan's head snaps toward her. Dad's mouth opens and closes without sound. Mom freezes mid-dab of her handkerchief. What? Dad finally manages. Jade shrugs, not meeting anyone's eyes. We've been treating her like an ATM. If Ryan did that to me, I'd have lost it way sooner than she did. The admission cracks something in the tableau of family unity they've presented. For the first time in 3 weeks, I feel a flutter of hope beneath my ribs, small and fragile, but present. I remain standing, not quite ready to sit back down, but not walking away either. This unexpected moment of honesty has created a fork in our path, and I'm suddenly uncertain which direction we'll take. I adjust the small bouquet of sunflowers in the center of my dining table, stepping back to survey my handiwork. The tablet second-hand find I refinished myself last month gleams under soft lighting. Nothing fancy, just a simple lasagna, garlic bread, and a fresh salad. My kind of hospitality. Need help with anything else? Tyler leans against the kitchen door frame, dish towel slung over his shoulder. The easy comfort between us still surprises me sometimes. I think we're good. I smooth the napkin needlessly. Thanks for being here tonight. He crosses to me, hands settling on my shoulders. Wouldn't miss it. You okay? Before I can answer, the doorbell rings. My shoulders tense involuntarily beneath his fingers. It's just dinner, he reminds me softly. I nod, square my shoulders, and move to the door. When I open it, Mom stands there, Logan slightly behind her. She clutches a glass baking dish with both hands like it's a peace offering. Homemade apple crisp, she announces, her voice carrying a forced brightness. Still warm. Come in. My smile feels genuine, if cautious. The absence of Dad and Jade hangs in the air between us, unmentioned but unmissable. Logan steps forward, awkwardly offering a bottle of wine that I notice isn't from the top shelf. Hey Ellis, place looks nice. The greetings are stilted but sincere. I accept Mom's dessert with both hands, our fingers brushing in a moment of connection that feels more honest than 1,000 family dinners before. Tyler's just opening the wine, I say, leading them to the table. Nothing fancy tonight, just homemade. It smells wonderful, Mom says, and I catch the slight surprise in her voices if she's just remembering I'm capable of more than signing checks. We settle into dinner, and the conversation flows more naturally than I expected. No mentions of bills or who's paying. Just people talking. How's the Anderson project going? Logan asks between bites of lasagna. You mentioned last time it was keeping you busy. I blink, momentarily startled by his genuine interest in my work. It's good challenging, but we're making progress. The client finally approved the third quarter projections. This is delicious, Ellis, Mom says, reaching for a second helping of salad. Let me help clean up after. Small moments, authentic connections. I feel something unclenching inside me that I hadn't realized was still so tight. But there are empty chairs at my table. The absence speaks volumes. Dad's still? I finally ask, letting the question hang. Mom sets down her fork with deliberate care. Your father isn't ready yet, she says quietly. Jade sides with him. Logan studies his plate. They think you're being stubborn. I absorb this without surprise. I can only control my own choices, I finally, not their responses. The truth settles over us, neither comforting nor devastating. Just real. Later I raise my glass. To rebuilding, I offer. One honest conversation at a time. They echo the sentiment, and I remember our lunch last week, the careful division of the check, everyone paying their share. Mom had started to say, Ellis could get before catching herself, a flash of awareness crossing her face. Logan and I had exchanged knowing glances but appreciated the effort. Progress isn't perfection. After they leave, I stand in my quiet apartment, running my finger along the edge of the table. The evening feels incomplete, yet whole in its own way. Family healing is messy, imperfect, unresolved, and that's okay. I've learned there's freedom in accepting relationships for what they are, not what I wish they could be. Some people will change when shown a mirror, others will break it rather than see their reflection. I carry the last dishes to the sink, watching moonlight spill across my small but sufficient kitchen. The weight on my shoulders feels different now, lighter, but still present. My own weight to carry, not someone else's expectations. Some prices, I whisper to myself, are too high even for family.